It's Nolan. Now that I got your attention, I guess I should probably mention I got a new album available now on my site. Nigga, fuck all that whining and bitching. You looking for greatness, then I'm the description. Dropping me by like a prison. Twisting your brow like ignition and split, nigga. That's what I call on the vision. I'm finna infiltrate, you cannot imitate. I'm from a pedigree, this is not Triple H. I took a road, you can travel like Triple A. Do the impossible, just like a triple play. Genuine energy, I am not Timberlake. But a nigga too insane. Truck full of money, better pull up in the ring. So I can give a what the fuck about what a nigga think. I'm on some new shit, elevated my rubric. I'm an industry nuisance, giving my 2 cents. Telling niggas what the truth is. It ain't even about music. Everybody wanna know the cheat code. Bitch, I got bops on reload. I was just on live 2 hours straight. Ain't play not one repeat song. I'm ready for the spotlight. I was on the block like a stoplight. Every day I catch lightning in the bottle. The niggas told lies by the night, hitting spots twice. Couple years I was living on fried rice. Like a tree when I got to eat Popeyes. Gotta beat I'ma get your whole top 5. Spit heat on top like a rabbi. It's Nolan. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everyone is doing well on this beautiful Thursday. Hopefully it's beautiful in the location where you're at, because I don't know what the climate is and all of that different stuff. But I hope you're doing well. Hope work has been good. Hope your kids is good. Hope your family is in good standing, okay? Now, in today's show, we're going to be getting into Megan Thee Stallion, all right? So, of course, she's got the new documentary In Her Words coming out on the 31st. That's Halloween. And, of course, there is a new trailer out. Unfortunately, I cannot play the trailer in this video because Amazon Prime is running copyright on there. So, you know, we don't play those games with these big corporations because they'll come and try to take whatever little money you make off of it. And if y'all don't know me by now, y'all should know I'm about mine, baby. So we just gonna kind of cover what's going on in the trailer of this documentary, right? Just to get into some of the subject matter of what you can expect in the documentary, kind of give my little take, my little synopsis of what it is, right? And then we'll just kind of go from there. Unfortunately, again, we cannot play it. I wish I could, but you know, it is what it is. So this is the flyer or the promotional artwork for the Megan Thee Stallion In Her Words documentary, her story, her life. This will be once again coming out October 31st on Amazon Prime. So if you have Prime Video, you will be primed to tune in on the 31st. Okay? So when this trailer opens up, they start with Megan canceling all of her shows, right? So I'm assuming that this is probably somewhere around 2020, late 2020, 2021-ish, perhaps, because I do know that she was doing some shows and some events around that time. I know she did like a title show, you know, towards the end of 2020. So I'm guessing it's somewhere, of course, during the pandemic, because that was like the height of all of the controversy, the height of everybody, you know, trying to figure out what happened. That was the height of, you know, unfortunately, her going back and forth with not only Tory Lanez about the shooting situation, but also with her former best friend, Kelsey. And I guess them all trying to figure out, I wouldn't even say figure out because all of them were there, but us trying to figure out who did what and how this thing was going to unravel. And a lot of people pick sides, you know what I'm saying? In this trailer, you see that she talks about facing backlash, you know, people discrediting her story, people feeling like she was a liar, people blaming her, you know, drinking, basically saying she got herself in that situation by having some sort of drunken fit that caused him to do that to her. I don't understand that one. But, you know, I don't want to go back too much into that time period and rehash that stuff. So we'll just keep moving forward. She canceled all her shows. So at this point, you know, she's facing some depression, right? She's in the trailer, she talks about being overly consumed with social media, you know, clapping back at people that have these ideas about who she is or what happened, not really knowing the facts, right? And the effects that it had on her in a, you know, as far as mentally, right? So she canceled the show. She said, I cannot be Megan Thee Stallion. How I'm supposed to be Megan Thee Stallion if I'm not having fun, if I'm not having a good time, and that's what y'all know me for doing. That's the vibe that I bring when I get on stage, when I'm out with the crowd. I'm basically up here just phoning it in. I'm just going through the motions, not even really feeling it. And I'm sure there may have been a point where the fans could tell. I don't know because I was never at any of those events, but I do know she did face a little bit of people that criticized that title show. I do remember that. I remember some people were making comments about her weight at the time. Some people were saying that she looked a little slow with her movements and stuff like that, which again, we never take none of the artist's personal life and things that they have going on or anything for that matter as to what it is that we might be seeing. But I do remember that being a thing, right? That title show, it did have some technical difficulties as well. But moving forward, so she goes from there to then talking about her mom, right? And unfortunately, right when she's rising to her like full on fame, she's getting with Rock Nation, you know what I'm saying? All of this stuff, and her mom's not here. Her mom passed, and she doesn't get to like really enjoy the fruits of her labor with her mom, who was her number one supporter. Her mom was a rapper first, so all of the influence, she wanted to be like her mom, and she goes into basically showing some animations of her mom being the influence, being the rapper, being the matriarch of the home, and she wanting to, that was the birth of Megan Thee Stallion. Like I wanted to be like her, so then I started to craft my rap persona off of that. You know what I'm saying? Um, which I think is going to be a very emotional part of the story of the documentary because I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate. When it comes to your parents, not everybody's parents are their heroes, but for a lot of us, that is the case. Um, Even when you're like really young, your parents are like your first heroes outside of like anything that you may see on TV or, the cartoon character type heroes. But a lot of times you kind of pick up things. You walk, you talk, you know what I'm saying? Everything. Try to dress like your parents or your whichever one that you gravitate to the most. All of those things. Want to wear their clothes, want to wear their hat, want to wear their shoes. All those types of things. So I can only imagine what that was like because I haven't been in that position, and I'm hoping that I don't find myself in that position anytime soon, losing a parent. Because oh man, um, it's a devastating experience. But again, as you get into this part of the trailer, you start to see the introduction of like the animation. So you're gonna see a little bit of animation also being integrated into this documentary. Of course, we know that Megan is a big fan of anime, so I'm not surprised by that. Um, and they also showed after her mom passing, they showed like a glimpse of her like in a pool consuming liquor straight out the bottle, talking about, those dark times and stuff like that. And of course, again, she's been criticized in the past about, you know, drinking, and people have tried to use that against her as like as a knock, even though we know so many people um, have issues with it the same way. You know what I mean? But whatever, we're gonna move forward. So, um, she's alluding to that. And of course, for a lot of people going through a depressive time or going through a traumatic experience, you find coping mechanisms, and anything could be a coping mechanism, right? Some people will just go and isolate themselves from their family and friends and just go in the studio for exorbitant amounts of time. Some people will find themselves consuming hella cigarettes back to back. Some people may drink, like Megan Thee Stallion, and find themselves in a dark space that way. Some people, you know, whatever vice a lot of people choose, we know that going through depression and hard times can um, force people into like a spiral of some sort. Okay. From there, we then get into what looks like the beginning of Megan Thee Stallion's redemption arc, right? So that's her coming up out of the depression. She speaks on getting help, right? And then she's talking to other people, saying just understand that you can go out and get help. So that seems like to me that she may have gone into therapy to address her trauma, her grief, and take the proper steps to rebuilding her life and taking control of herself. You know what I'm saying? And being, because being the thing about being sober is that you're always forced to be in control. You're always forced to deal with what's on the table in front of you, for the most part, because again, even if you not drinking or smoking or doing drugs, people do have ways of like being avoidant to what's going on. But if you've been using substances to like escape and then you kind of pull back from those substances, it does put you in a space where you kind of have to deal with your shit. You know what I mean? And all of these things while getting back to the public. You know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know exactly when they wrapped up the shooting for this documentary, but I'm hoping that this redemption arc piece of her getting back out kind of includes some stuff from this year. Again, I don't know that to be 100% accurate that they are, but I'm hoping so because she's had a hell of a year. And I think it would kind of be a disservice if she comes out of all of that and have the year that she's having in 2024 and none of that is included, right? I'm sure a lot of what she's done this year was probably in the works, in the negotiation phases, working out the numbers, getting budgets together and all of those types of things. So maybe we'll see some of the behind the scenes business of her preparing for 2024 and putting her agenda together to come out and make the splash that she did this year. But again, I really hope we get a glimpse into what the fuck's been going on this year, because like when she was out in Japan and like having a good time and doing all of the, you know what I'm saying, she was doing like a different look every day, different wig, different this, different that, different, you know what I'm saying, going to different restaurants, showing that stuff on Instagram. But what did we not see on Instagram? Like, who did she meet while she was out there? You know what I'm saying? When did songs like Mamushi or Otaku Hot Girl, like when did those things become a part of what she wanted to do? What was the recording process like when doing songs like Cobra? We may not get his, but doing a song like Cobra, which is basically addressing all of the, ups and downs and the feelings and the emotions that she was going through while trying to get to this redemption arc with this Megan album. Of course, from that onset of Cobra, that was the whole snake and the shedding of the skin theme, being reborn, rebirth, starting anew type of thing. So I'm hoping all of that gets shown. Megan album, Hot Girl Summer Tour, because all of that negativity and backlash and all of the fuck shit that was like going on for the past few years, that trial, the back and forth she was having with her own label 1501, right? And all of the little different tactics that she had to employ going against them just so that she could progress with her career, put music out and have it count towards her her recording commitment on her label, right? Because they were trying to say, oh, that's not an album. This is an album. That's not an album. That's an EP. That's a mixtape. This is a blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Because they were trying to keep her under contract as long as possible to keep eating off of her material. And that day ended up coming to an end, right? Coming into this year, Megan won both the Tory situation. I won't say won because it really wasn't a situation where she could lose. It was just whether or not he was going to go to jail. But she came out of that where the courts was like, hey, you're gonna have to sit down, sir. It is what it is. Right? So that got put behind her. She got out of the 1501 situation, got out of the 300 situation. Now she just has a direct distribution situation with Warner. She owns her music now. She's got her own company, Hot Girl Productions. I would love to see what that was like, what that process was like when she, got the trademarks and all of that stuff finalized. And like, oh shit, I got my own label. Like, damn, for real? You know what I'm saying? What did those studio sessions feel like with her going in there knowing that she was actually going to be owning her work from that time forward? Like, it's so much shit that I hope gets into this documentary that honestly I don't know if it's gonna be there, but that's the shit that I'm like most interested in. Because even though like we know that they're gonna address the hard times that Megan went through, and we really know those hard times because so much of it was documented online. So much of it was her, trying to tell her side of the story as much as she possibly could without, going into too much grave detail. Her and Tori kind of debating publicly about what happened, what didn't happen, right? Him putting that fucking album out and trying to make it seem like they were just so madly in love. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, she ain't know you had but a few months. Like you trying to put 255 on 5, my nigga. What is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of know so much of that I'm like, man, I hope that's not the focal point of the documentary. Like, I want to see her talk about it because this is her opportunity to talk about it and be candid and be real and be open and vulnerable. But more so than that, I want to know, like, yo, what about not even so much now, but like the preparation behind what we see now? Like, what was that like? Right? I think that's a really compelling story. I think that unfortunately, going back into that other time, that gives a lot of her detractors fuel. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a lot of people that support like Nikki, we're just gonna say it, that are like, oh my God, when other things don't work, she's going back to the sympathy play. Oh, here we go. And it's like, bro, you can't really tell somebody not to tell their story, right? Wasn't I don't want to make this about Nikki, so we're gonna keep this brief. But wasn't part of why her documentary, and this is what she says. She said part of her documentary being halted or being incomplete or not being up to snuff of what she wanted was because she was gonna detail some DV stuff about Meek Mill and her relationship. But I believe she claims that Jay-Z reached out to her and said, "Hey, please don't talk about that in the documentary." You know what I'm saying? Because Jay-Z and Meek at the time were like rolling thick. It was in the middle of his police reform thing and all of this different type of stuff. So in the midst of him kind of being hoisted up in the light, she was going to tell her side of the story, which would have cast like a dark spell on him. I don't know how real that is. You know what I'm saying? Taking her word for it that that's what it was. But even if that's what it was, you shouldn't have nobody telling you what you can and can't talk about in your documentary of your life story, right? So if anybody feels a way about that, just go to your fave, and it's not even got to be that particular artist. Go to any artist documentary, especially one that's actually co-signed by the artist or the public figure, entertainer, whatever it is. They're going to talk about their upbringing. They're going to talk about the trials and tribulations they faced. They're going to talk about how they overcame those things. And it's probably going to give you some glimpses of where they are currently. That's pretty much how a documentary works. Unless it's only focusing on a specific portion of somebody's life. That's like, giving you a macro version of what's going on rather than a hyper, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I mean. But again, I'm hoping that that's not the focal point because I just feel like there's so many people that would use that as fuel to like craft a weird narrative. And that's always going to be there. But I want to know more about the current stuff and like how that's been for her, what that experience has been like. You know what I'm saying? Doing her career on her terms, not having Carl Crawford in the picture, not having nobody holding you back. She don't really answer to nobody. She doesn't have a label. You know what I'm saying? Warner's not telling her, we don't like this song. We think you should go back and get a single. We think you should work with this producer. We think you should come over here and do this. No, they're not involved on that level. All they do is accept the music and say, okay, you got the project. All right, we're going to put it out. What do you need from us in terms of marketing? They're not fronting the marketing bill, right? They may contribute, but they're not fronting the bill for nothing. They're not paying for her budget. All of those things are coming out of her pocket. I would love to see like what that was about and what that was like, because we don't really get to see that at the highest level. Most artists at the stage that Megan's at in her career are still in record deals, or if they're independent in her kind of deal structure, the caveat in most cases is that their career takes a significant dip because they don't have that machine hoisting them up, so where we don't really see, it's not glamorous, but she has like the hard work, she's got the investment, she's got all of that stuff, but it's still glamorous. You know what I'm saying? She has a documentary on Prime, she has a fucking TV show on Hulu, she's got a Nike deal, she's got fucking all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Wrestling promo, goddamn WWE. We haven't really seen an independent artist or artist that owns their shit in this type of light. So again, that's what I would love to see, but I'm going to watch it either way. I'm going to respect it for what it is either way. And, I hope that this was a cathartic experience for her. And, I'm wishing her all the best. Y'all know I fuck with Megan over here. So let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Of course, it will be out on Halloween, October 31st. So we'll get all into the details. Or maybe I'll review it or something like that when it drops. And we'll go from there. All right. Much love, respect. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
King of my city in cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.